All right, we're gonna try this again. I tried to do a little test on this the other day. I don't know if anybody's watching, but at this point it doesn't really matter. So I am gonna try to do. Hi, I'm Kurt from the MFG Cast. I'm going to be trying to do this little series of videos called Imperfect Playthrough. I'm going to choose some games, kind of tell you about what's going on with them, what I like about them, and we're just going to play through them and maybe go through a little chat too while we're at it. I'll probably just blab as I kind of go or whatever. I'm not a professional like watch it played or anything like that, but I thought I try to highlight some games that maybe you don't quite know about, or maybe you do and you just want to see me play them and kind of talk about them. So if you're watching this live at all, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat, ask me any questions, especially if it has anything to do with this game that we're playing tonight. The game we're playing tonight, or the game I'm playing tonight, is Iron Helm by Grey Gnome Games. Let's see if I can show you the cover of it. I got all my chits and stuff in the box here. So let's see. There we go. Iron Helm. It's a solo game by Grey Gnome Games. It is about a soon to be retired adventurer who wants to go on one last dungeon crawl to get his or her or their last fortune and fame before they retire. So I thought I would just kind of show you the ropes on how this plays. Again, this is kind of my first go around with this, so please be gentle on the comments. But yeah, here, we'll show it to you here. So I got my phone all set up. Show it to you here. Get my pretty face off of here. Let's show you the game, huh? All right. So here's what I got set up. I have Iron Helm. So I'll just kind of go through quickly some of the things that I have here. I have got my character. I've got Zola. She is going to be my adventurer for this game. She has 14 hit points, 12 energy, 8 encumbrance, which is like what you can carry, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Your rations and your coins or gold. Okay. During the game, you'll be set up with different things like, let's go back to her. So with her, she has some trappings, which means basically the stuff that you use to fight or to protect yourself. So I have short bow and leather armor, which I have down here. And then she also has a skill called Conceal, and we'll talk about those. Okay. So let's show you the stuff that she has when she's going on her adventure. She has leather armor. It costs 3 gold. It has an encumbrance or a weight of 2. So when it comes to this encumbrance here, you actually have to make sure that you don't go over. Otherwise, you're going to have to get rid of something. Okay. And then when you fight, when you have the leather armor on, you subtract 1 when you take initial damage. We'll talk about initial damage here later on. Another thing she has her short bow. It costs 3, has a weight of 1. It's 2-handed. So if you're a 2-handed person, of course, you can only have a 2-handed weapon, or you can have 2 single-handed weapons if you want. It also says in the game too that you can kind of swap out, but you have to make sure that you choose your weapon and your armor before you go into battle. So right now I just have the 2 things, so I'm gonna stick with that. Also, it says here on the text that says deal 2 damage to your foe before taking initial damage. You must re-roll die results of 6. So the initial damage is what's going to be happening from them before you get to fight them. But again, we'll talk about that in a second. But you get to deal 2 damage to them, which is cool. But what sucks is you have to re-roll your die results of 6. So you're going to have to hope that you actually, when you roll a 6, you can maybe roll another 6 again or something higher. So, and then here's Zola's skill, which is Conceal. Now with this, what you had to actually do is you can avoid a skirmish, which is a fight that comes up in your dungeon here, and I'll talk about that in a sec. 1 to 2, you fail, you add 2 to the initial damage, which would really suck. To 3 to 4, you would fail that, and 5 to 6, success, you can avoid combat. Okay, so we got some other things laid out here too, just to kind of show you what you have. So there's plots we'll talk about in a little bit. We've got potions, we've got enemies, we've got loot, not loot, we've got loot, and we've got trappings. Okay, and then I've got over here, I've got my dungeon kind of map here. And then depending upon how further I get into the dungeon may give us some pluses and minuses depending upon what happens with certain cards. And we'll talk about those as we go. And then also we've got our morality track, which is here. Okay. Our morality track will actually give us some bonuses and minuses, and they can be really bad depending upon if you are going to these negative moralities. And that usually happens through plots, which I will talk about when we get to them. Okay. So, and then also what I've got here too is I've got my, my health tokens, energy tokens, gold, and rations. And we'll kind of talk about how that kind of goes as we go out through the game. And then got my dice to roll with, and then some other dice for enemies if we come to that and we get to a boss too, because the boss is what you need to fight at the end and defeat to retire and live life gloriously as a retired adventurer. So, okay. So as we start to play the game, what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of your dungeon cards. Okay. And you don't look at them. You just decide which one you want to take. So I decide I'm going to take this card. Okay. I don't get rid of this card just yet. I'm going to set it off to the side. We're going to take a look at this, and then we get to decide what we're going to do with it. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look and see what it says. Oh, this is the Labyrinth. Okay. So when it comes to Iron Helm, you get to do it. You get to have a choice. You can take the first card that you have, or you can get rid of that first card and you can end up taking your second card. The only caveat on this is that if you decide not to take this one, you go for the other one. If, say, this has a 1 or a 2, if you decide to discard this card and you go for the other card, you're going to have to take that 2 option, which is usually, when it comes to this kind of stuff, which this Labyrinth is bad, is going to be even worse. So let's take a look at see what it says as far as the Labyrinth goes. So it says, surely your cunning will see you out of this wizard's maze. So for number 1, it says discard 1 ration. I have only 1 ration left, and I'll kind of talk about what that means for us during the game. If you have no rations, lose 3 health. Okay, so that's what happens with rations. With rations, you're going to want to have these during the game, because if you get through a dungeon deck and you have to reshuffle and start again, you have to get rid of 1 ration. If you don't have a ration, you have to lose 3 health. So right here, it's giving us that decision right away, that it's saying discard a ration. If you don't, then you have to lose 3. Okay. I don't think I want to do that right now. So I'm going to take the choice, and I'm actually going to get rid of this Labyrinth. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to take this second card. Now I have to take what's ever on this. And if it gives me an option of 1 or 2, I have to decide what I'm going to do, or I have to do that 2 option, and I have to go for it. So I'm going to take a look. Ooh, ambush. This is interesting. So usually when it comes to these ambushes, if you get the number 1 option, that means you're ambushing the enemy. If you take the number 2, it's basically your foe is actually getting the upper hand on you, and you're going to have to fight with kind of a disadvantage. Okay. So I am stuck with number 2. So I'm going to do that. So it says your foe catches you by surprise, getting the upper hand. So it says draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level to their initial damage. And then add the dungeon level +4 to their health. Okay. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this off to the side just so we can go to the enemy card. So I have my enemy here. I've got a wolf. Okay. So the wolf is going to come out. So I'm going to put these down here just so we can kind of see what's going on with our stuff here. Okay. So with our enemies, we have different things. Actually, I should bring this back up. Okay. It shows us certain things. Okay. So let me actually go back to the instructions here because I haven't played this for a bit. So I just wanted to make sure that I have the right things. Okay. So the heart is their base health. The kind of like little blue kind of explosion is their damage every time they hit. The green kind of, I don't know what you would call that, kind of starburst is their treasure type. And then this little kind of I don't even know what to call that shape. I'm so sorry. The yellow shape with kind of like the kind of an octagon, that is their weakness. Okay. If you have a certain type of if you have a certain type of weapon that has that type of weakness or whatever, or has that type of hit or what should I call that? That's their weakness. So there's like undead, fire, and ice. This is fire. So if I had a weapon that had fire, it would deal extra damage. I don't at this moment. So I mean, that's just how it is. Okay. So as far as the ambush said, it says I have to draw the enemy card and add the dungeon level to their initial damage. My dungeon level right now, I'm right on the number 1 spot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 to their initial damage. So that would actually make it 3. But when it comes to my short bow, it says that I can deal 2 damage before taking initial damage. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 damage to them. So you usually use these 12-sided dice. So it started with a 3. I'm going to switch it to a 1 just because I'm doing that damage to them before they attack me. Okay. And then and also says add the dungeon level to their health. So technically they're going to add the dungeon level +4 to their health. Okay. Wow. All right. Sorry, I haven't played this for a while. So that even though we went that initial damage, I'm gonna have to put this back up to a 5 then, even with that additional damage, because they've got more health there. Okay. So now I could actually avoid this right away because I have this thing where I spend the rations to avoid the conflict with the wolf, but I don't think I want to do that at the moment just because I want to save my rations for later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that initial damage. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take this. So right now, I think I might have read this wrong. Give me a second here. Draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level to their initial damage. Oh, I get it. Okay. So I think I might have done this a little wrong. So let's go back. So add the dungeon level to +4 to their health. Okay. So it's going to be 3 + 4. So that's going to make it a 7. Then I'm going to deal that 2 damage before my foe does the initial damage, which is going to take them down to a 5. So excuse me for what I did there. Okay. And then I'm going to add the dungeon level to their initial damage. So their initial damage on the card is 2 plus the 1 of the dungeon. And then I'm going to roll. Okay. And then I have to take these 2 dice and I have to roll these, and I take the highest number or the lowest number away from the highest number, and then I actually add that to their damage. So that's going to be quite a bit here. So I'm going to roll this quick. Roll it over here just so everyone can see. Oops. And then I knock my phone because that's amazing. All right. So a 4 minus 3 is 1. And then plus the 3 that's going to happen here because of this 2 and the 1 from the ambush card. So that's going to be 4 damage. So when I do the 4 damage, I'm going to take these tokens away from me. So I've got these tokens based off of my health on Zola there. They're going to go away, and they're not going to come back until I get a chance to heal. Okay. So now it's my turn to attack. Okay. So this is a little different from when they attack. So what's going to happen is I can discard up to 3 tokens energy, which I have here. I started with 12. If you see on my Zola card here, 12 there. I get to spend up to 3 of these energy tokens. And if I do, then what I can do is I can use that to roll dice for damage. So it comes with 3 dice for the attack. You have to have your 2-handed weapon ready on yourself, or one-handed weapon, unless it says otherwise that you can use 2 one-handed weapons. Okay, so I'm going to use this short bow. Okay, because of the dealing 2 damage to the foe before the initial attack, it doesn't have any other add-ons. So I kind of decide what I want to do as far as my attack. So now I know that this wolf has a 5 for health, and between 3 dice, depending upon what I want to buy as far as using my energy for dice, that's going to be tough. So I have to really make sure that, like, okay, how much do I really want to spend? What I want to take a chance, because if I don't kill this wolf right away on this fight, they're going to be able to keep attacking me until, one of us dies. So I have to be very careful on that. Okay. But I think I'm feeling good. So I think I'm going to use 2 energy. So I'm going to take 2 energy. I'm going to return those to the box, and I'm going to roll my 2 dice and hope to goodness that I get at least a 5 or better. So I roll. Oh, I got a 9. Holy crap. All right. Well, that does it. Okay. So I've done enough damage. I get to slay the wolf, and the wolf is gone. Now, what happens when you beat an enemy? You get some certain things. So what I talked about is the treasure. Before, with this green starburst, you get to decide, or you get a certain thing when you beat the wolf, when you beat someone with a 1 starburst on it. So beating this wolf, I get to draw 1 random card from the top of the loot deck, or take 1 gold from the supply. Okay, so at the beginning, I could have actually used these gold. You could have used this gold to, like, maybe grab another loot or something like that to pay for it or whatever. But I think it's kind of beneficial to be able to beat the wolf or beat an enemy and grab something there. So I don't really know if I need any coins at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cash in this wolf, and I'm going to draw the top of the loot deck. So let's get to see what we got here. Oh no. The worst possible thing that could happen. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to get this great boon. Well, I'm not going to be able to, because I've got this mimic that's pretending to be treasure, and it's going to attack me, which is terrible because I've already lost some damage. I'm already trying to get through this dungeon and kind of get to the boss, and I'm already been in too many fights. But it says that I can avoid this conflict by spending a ration. Now, I think at this point in time, just because this mimic has a can hit for 3 and also has a health of 6, I think I'm just going to avoid it. I don't think I want to. I don't want to fight this because I just feel like that would be silly. And I got to hope that I get some rations, hopefully in the dungeon deck. So I'm going to take my ration. I'm going to put it back in the box. The mimic is going to go, and I am going to avoid it. So a thing I didn't mention before, when you defeat an enemy, like I defeated this wolf, you can actually hold it off to the side as like a, almost like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a, oh, this is what I defeated kind of thing. And you can actually spend your defeated enemies to buy skills. So if you have 3 enemies, you can buy a skill that has to do with your certain, I can't remember what they call it, like your certain ability at the bottom. So like with Zola, hers is agility. So I could actually buy an agility card for 3 enemies. Or there's different other ones that are different abilities. And what I could do is I could save up 5 enemies to spend for that. So unfortunately, if you avoid something, like I avoided something with this mimic, that doesn't count. So right now I have the wolf. I don't have the mimic. I gotta get rid of him. I'm gonna toss him off to the side. I don't like him. He says bye-bye. I never liked mimics in my role-playing games, and I don't want to play him in this. No, I'll avoid you. Get out of here, sucker. All right. So put my wolf down, sorry. Okay. So now the ambush is going to go in my discard pile here. Okay. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. One thing I'm gonna just kind of talk about as I kind of show you my next 2 cards is that as you go through these decks, you'll be fighting and getting stuff and kind of upgrading yourself to try to get loot and potion and skills, and then hopefully some plots and stuff like that. The plots, and there's another card in here too, and I forget what it is. Hopefully we'll actually come to it and I'll be able to talk about it. It will kind of progress the story, and it has like little like oh, here, I'll just show you a plot on the bottom, just so I won't explain what the plot is. I'll just show you on the bottom. So I'll cover up the story and I'll show you that it has a little eyeball here. Well, each certain one has eyeballs on the actual card. Sorry, this is really hard to see. There we go. And once you get up to a certain amount of eyeballs, I think it's 10, then you'll get to fight the boss. Okay. Let me see. Yep. Yeah. Once you sorry, I'm reading the instructions right now. You can't see them. So once you get to 10 eyeball icons on your plots, or there's something in here in the deck, then you'll trigger a boss. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take these different enemies that you've defeated, and whatever icon here that you have the most of, fire, or was it fire, ice, or can't remember the other one now. Doesn't matter. Oh, undead, fire, ice, or undead. You will take a boss from the boss deck and you'll fight it. So I'm not going to show you any bosses right now. We'll see if we even get to it at that point. Or if I die, then I'll kind of show you what a boss fight might look like. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Let's go back to what we were doing. We're going to go to the 2 dungeon cards. We're going to see which one we're going to pick. I picked the one on the right, I think, last time. So I'm going to pick the one on the left. Let's see what happens here. Oh, another ambush. Jeez. Apparently I have some bad luck when it comes to stuff. Well, this one would actually be decent because I can catch the foe by surprise and get the upper hand. And it says I can draw an enemy card and ignore their additional damage, but then I have to add the dungeon level to their health, which would only be 1. So it actually wouldn't be too bad. And again, defeating enemies and getting them to kind of upgrade your skills and your abilities and stuff like that, and be able to buy certain things is actually good for you. So this time I think I'm gonna actually go for the ambush. Let's see what this other card says, just to see what happened. Arrow trap. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad I didn't do that because I would have gotten some poison tokens. So the way to win the game is to defeat the boss and, of course, retire. A couple of ways to lose the game is to run out of your health and lose all your health, or you have more poison tokens. You get poison tokens and certain things, then you have health, and that's very bad, of course, because if you are poisoned more than you have health, of course you're going to die. That's the way life works, right? I've never been poisoned. I would never want to. So I'm glad. Good thing we didn't have that one. So I'm going to put that one off to the side. Excuse me. Got to take a drink. All this talking is making me very thirsty. Plus, it's very warm down here in my basement. Okay. So we're going to do another fight with another enemy. So I'm going to draw the enemy card. I'm going to ignore their initial damage, but even though I avoid the initial damage, I still get to deal the 2 damage because of my short bow. Okay, so he gets +1 to his health, or their health. So that's a 4. I'm going to do that damage before they do the initial damage, which I will be avoiding or ignoring because of the ambush. And then I get to fight them right away. So they only have a health of 2. I think I'm going to spend a 1 energy just to hit them. Another thing you can do too is, if you don't want to use your energy to fight somebody, you can actually just do like a can't remember what they call it, like a melee attack with your fist, and you don't have to spend an energy. You can get 1 attack on that. Unfortunately, the wolf has 2. I don't really feel like getting bit by him or them once I get bit. So I'm just going to roll a die and I'm going to hope for the best. So here we go. 3, I got them. All right. So they are out of the game. So here we go again. Take them out. Again, it's another wolf. It's another thing where I can draw and get a loot, or I can take a coin. I don't think I'm going to, I think the mimics are finally gone, so I'm not going to have to worry about running into them again. So I think I'm going to grab myself a loot card. So grab a loot card, and I've got the ice hack. Wow, I like that. So this is, it costs 5 to buy if I wanted to buy it. It has a weight of 2. So I've got 1 for the short bow, 2 for the leather armor, and 2 for the ice hack. So that gives me 5. My how much I can carry is 8, so I won't be encumbered. So I will be able to keep the ice hack. And if I use the ice hack, it says you may discard this card to deal 3d6 damage while spending 0 energy, +3 to the sum of your attack roll versus enemies weak to frost. So this is a great card because it's cool, because with axes you can actually throw them and get like really good damage, but also you can but also it actually gets rid of it once you throw it. But it's okay, because like, say you're at the end of the say that you're at like the end of the boss, you're at the end with the boss. Well, you can throw your ice hack to kind of, use those 3d6 to put them out of commission. So that's pretty awesome. So I still get to keep it, and then I get to decide. I'll put this ice hack on top of the short bow, but I have to decide before I go into another fight which one of those I'm going to be going into combat with. Okay, so the ambush is done. I've defeated another wolf, and I have 2 enemies to go towards getting another skill. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Next one, I have these 2 right here. I think I'll pick the right this time. Ooh, the clearing. This is what I was talking about. Great. Okay, so I'm going to take this one just because I know that this is going to further my game and further the plot points. So let's just see what the other one was. Oh, treasure. Oh, that would have been so good. Could have gained a gold, or if I would have got rid of this one for this one, this treasure, I would have drawn one loot card and a potion card, which would have been great. But I'm okay with that. We're going to go to the clearing and we're going to draw a plot card. Okay. So let's talk about our plots. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick out a plot and you're going to read what is on the card. So this one is about the old woman. You hear a moaning sound from the shadows and discover a lost old woman. She is frail and mutters on about losing something in the darkness. Now you get two different options. Okay. So the first option is help her escape the dungeon. You spend a good deal of time working your way back out of the dungeon with the woman. Soon you are at the entrance and she turns to you and blesses you before leaving. Lose one ration and one energy. Gain one blessing token and move up the track. Move one on the morality track. Now, with blessing tokens, those are tokens that are blessed upon you for using when you're going to fight the boss. So you're going to be taking a token that's a round token that looks like this. It's got a little the blessing, and it's going to have something on the back. So I'll just kind of show you one of these. So like if I took this one, it would give me an extra health. Okay. So you wouldn't actually look at this until the end. You keep these face down with you. And once you are ready to fight the boss, then it would, you would be able to turn those all over and be able to get certain boons for fighting the boss at the end. So I'm going to put this back. Unfortunately, which really sucks, the rules state that if you can't get rid of something that it asks you to, like I can't lose this ration because I don't have a ration, I'm kind of screwed. So I can't do that. And plus, that would have been awesome moving up the morality track because I would have gotten more boons for the end if I would have gotten to that point, which we'll still see. So instead, I have to leave her and search instead, which is kind of sucky, but whatever. That's just what I had. Sometimes you just have to do the hard decision. So you ignore the old hag and instead look for what she may have lost. Move down one on the morality tracker. So I'm going back to the morality tracker and I am booping myself down one, or -1. So I'm going to go to the -1, and that might mean some bad business for later. Okay. So here we go to this again. And it says, also it says gain one random treasure card. So that's kind of like one of the good things. So unfortunately I did the bad thing. I didn't help her out, but I found her treasure basically, which is kind of crazy. Also, because this is a certain plot point too, I have 2 eyeballs here. So I'm already 2 down from 10 to get to the boss. So I will keep that with me, keep track of the eyeballs. None of this will matter at the end. It's just the 2 eyeballs help me getting to 10 to get to the end. So I'm going to put that off to the side for now. I'm going to take me a treasure card. So treasure card is okay. So a treasure card is actually going to be either a loot or a potion. Okay. So I think I can show everyone what a potion is. I think I'm going to set everyone up for this look, showing you what that means. So I'm going to take myself a potion, and this potion is Spark Bomb, which is cool. So it has a weight of 1. It would cost me 1 if I did it. And then I think AS, I think is like the initials for a sorted. I can't remember. At this point, I'm not going to explain everything. You can figure that out later. So what I can do is I can discard this card to deal 2d6 damage. Plus this is +5 damage to foes weak versus fire, which is cool. So that means that I will be able to, like, maybe I can save this to the end if I can, and maybe throw it at the boss, and hopefully that they're weak to fire. So that would get me 2d6 +5, which would be awesome. Okay. So now with everything I've got here, I've got my short bow, which is 2, ice hack, which is, our short bow is 1. As far as the weight, ice hack is 2, leather armor is 2, and spark bomb is 1. So I've got 2, 4, 6. As far as helping me fight. I think I'm going to put this here for now off to the side so we can remember that we have it. And we're going to move on to the next thing. Okay, here we go on to the next one. So we take 2 cards, decide which one we want to pick. I think I'm going to pick left this time. Skirmish. Ooh, this one's tough. This one is you draw your, since it's number 1, I read the number 1. You draw your weapon and are ready for battle. Draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level +2 to their health. So this one's kind of a little bit more hardcore because it's more of like a fight to the death, kind of like both foes are meeting in level territory, even though it kind of feels like it's not with adding +2 to their health. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one and I'm going to try my hand at the other card. Oh no, it's another skirmish. Oh, tell you, I have bad luck today. I am so sorry. You're probably just all laughing at me like, this is amazing how terrible he's doing. But hey, we're going to do the best we can. You are taken off guard and stumble for your weapon. I have to draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level +4 to their health. Can't talk. Okay, so let's get an enemy. What do we got? Hopefully it's not another wolf. Oh, it's an orc warrior, which is crazy. Amazing how hardcore they are. Okay, so excuse me. So when it comes to the orc warrior, it looks like they're going to have 5 health. I'm going to be adding +4, so they're going to be a 9. It says that I can actually avoid this conflict by spending 2 gold. I've been doing pretty good as far as fighting goes. Oh, but I just don't know. I do have my ice hack now, and that will actually give me quite a bit of damage. So do I use it? What shall I do? This would be kind of fun to see what I could do there. This person is weak to fire, so that won't get me +3 versus them. And I don't know if I want to throw that either. So do I want to spend the 2 gold just to avoid them? Try to get somebody that's not so beefy. You know what? I'm gonna being the tough warrior sometimes, maybe it's sometimes just smarter to just kind of try to avoid. So I think what I'm going to do, actually I could use my conceal actually, now that I think about it. So I could roll a die and I could see if I could actually get rid of that to avoid it instead of using my 2 gold. So I think I'm going to try that actually. Okay, so I have to roll. I have to make sure that I get a 5 or a 6. Otherwise, I will not avoid this. Oh, a 1. Oh, that adds 2 more to their initial damage. So that would mean that they would be getting 2 + 2 to the initial damage. Plus, they're going to be having the 9 health on them too. So I think I am going to spend my 2 gold and I'm just going to get rid of them. So I had my conceal to try to get out of the way. I'm not going to. I'm going to pay the piper. I'm going to say, here you go, orc warrior. Don't hurt me. And I'm going to get rid of it. Bye. Good Lord. All right. So I'm going to avoid that skirmish, which is good because I feel like I would get myself very hurt. All right. Let's move on to the next. Moving on. Here we go. Now, the 2, which one left? Another ambush. Okay, I'm going to decide to get rid of it. I'm going to try the next one. Another skirmish. Oh my God. I guarantee you there are better cards in here too to be able to do some fun things. This game is brutal, and I don't think I have won it yet. I think I've gotten to the boss twice and not one. Or maybe I did do it once and did win, but I think it was like barely at the end. All right, so we're going to have to do this one now. I'm not going to be able to avoid it, I don't think, but let's see. Let's see what we got. Undead Archer. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Okay. Excuse me. Also, it says that I cannot defend against initial damage, which really sucks. So, because I did the skirmish number 2, I have to add +4 to their health. So they're going to be at an 8, which is really sucky. I'm going to do this here. I'm not going to use any of my special stuff yet, just because I want to save it towards if I get to the end here. So I'm going to actually I'm going to equip my ice hack. Or do I want to do that? Because I'm not really getting any special abilities with that yet. I think I'm going to do this because I want to use my short bow because I want to deal 2 damage to my foe before I take my additional damage. So that's going to make the undead archer go down to 6. I am going to take some initial damage here. So I'm going to roll my 2 dice, subtract the lowest from the highest, and then add it to their initial damage. So 4 minus 1 is a 3, which really sucks. Plus 2 is 5. So I'm taking a lot of damage right now, which is really sucky. So I'm going to take this 5 damage and it's going back in the box. So right now I only have 5 more health left, and I've got 9 more energy to use to fight. All right, so I got to really get going here. All right, so I'm going to have to pay energy to fight. Oh, another thing I've been doing wrong is I haven't been using my leather armor. I could just subtract 1 damage when taking initial damage. I can't defend against this undead archer though, but that's okay. I'll just have to remember this for next time. Sometimes there's just so much going on. You're just not going to be able to remember everything sometimes, and that's okay. We all make mistakes. Okay, so I have 6 damage I need to take away from this gentleman or gentle person or gentlewoman, whatever this undead archer was. And I am going to have to spend energy for how many dice. Last time I rolled a 9, which is very shocking with 2 dice, but I think I don't want to spend any more than 2 energy. So I'm going to spend the 2 energy. So I'm going to go back to the box. I'm going to shake 2 dice and add them up. And whatever that is, it's going to give the undead archer some damage. 7 damage. Nice. I did a good job. Zola did a great job, was able to defeat our undead archer, which is great. So now another thing that happens is if one of the enemies that you fight, if it has a little gold thing at the bottom here, you actually get a gold from the supply. So I'm going to take a gold, and then I have this 1 treasure option again. So I can take another gold or I can take a loot. I'm going to take a loot. So, and then my undead archer is going to go here, and I'm going to talk about this in a second because I have 3. I've got 3 enemies that I've beat. So let's take our loot first. Let's see what we got. Elven bow, beautiful. This one, you deal 2 damage to your foe before taking initial damage. Okay, so I already have a bow that does that. And let's see what we've got for our weight here, because I might have to get rid of something if I have too much. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this would make it 8. So I would be exactly at 8, so I can keep the elven bow. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter for me in the long run because it kind of does the same thing as the short bow. The only thing is I don't have to re-roll. I don't have to re-roll 6s at all, which is great. Which actually, now that I think about it, I have to re-roll. So I actually didn't defeat that guy because I used my short bow and I have to re-roll the results of 6. Okay, well, let's go back. We're gonna put that bow back. We're gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing. Go back here. I'm gonna have to re-roll this 6 and hope to get a another 5 or a 6 or something. Well, let's see. What did I have for him? I think he had a 6. So I would have to roll a 4 or a 5. So let's go back to that. I rolled a 6. I have to re-roll it again. I think you must re-roll die results of 6. All right. Well, I'm just going to continue to do it because I use my short bow. There it is. All right, look at that. A 1 and a 5 makes a 6. So I did end up doing it anyway. Thank God. Okay, so I leave my gold coin there because I did that. I'm gonna take the. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna take a coin because I know that this is an Elven bow. I would have done this anyway. So get that. All right. So now that I have three different enemies that I've beaten, I can actually trade them in for a skill that actually has my agility ability on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to find back in the box here. I have my skills back in here. So I put them back in the box just because I was like, well, I don't really need them at the moment, but we have a thing of skills. So I'm going to look through and I'm going to try to find one that says agility, and I'm going to see if I want to buy it. So there's archery, which is great because I'm an archer pretty much. There's shadow, which sounds awesome, and dodge. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at what kind of ability or what kind of skills we can do. All right, so one of them is dodge. Dodge is I gain one less poison damage from the arrow trap. I already avoided the arrow trap already, and it will probably come next time once I get through this dungeon the first time. So I think I'm going to avoid that. Okay, the next one is shadow. With a dagger in your primary hand, you may deal d6 damage before taking any initial damage during phase 1 of an ambush, which is actually pretty amazing. I really like that. All right, well, let's consider that. So what does our archery say? When using a bow, you may re-roll all die results of a 1. I really like that because I tend to roll 1s a lot. So I think I'm going to keep that. So that's going to be another skill I can do. And both skills can be out at the same time. So I'm going to put my archery. Unfortunately, you're not going to probably be able to see it, but I'm going to put my archery next to the conceal right over here. And maybe I'll get the shadow next time as my ability. Okay, so that means I have to get rid of all these cards, all these enemies that I used for getting that getting that skill. So I'm gonna do that. Excuse me, I want to take another drink of water. Hopefully you can't hear me drink because that's loud. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. All right, so we keep moving on to the dungeon. Here's our next one. Let's see what happens this time. Let's move to the next. Mushroom Grove. All right. So for number 1, it says I have located a grove of young mushrooms. I can gain 1 ration. If I were to pick this as my second, I would gain 2 because this is you find yourself standing in a grove of ripe mushrooms. Okay, so I am gonna want to take that 1 ration because if I don't, and I get through this dungeon and I have to reshuffle up again to go in it, I'd have to spend a ration basically to eat to keep myself healthy. Otherwise, I'd lose 3 or I'd take 3 damage or lose 3 health. So I'm gonna keep that. See what the other one was. Ooh, a merchant, which would have been awesome because depending upon where I am in the dungeon, I could actually move up and down, which is great. Oh, that'd have been so good. Oh, that'd have been so good. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Mushroom Grove. Go into my box here. I'm gonna grab another ration. You know what? I think I might have need to figure out. Okay, and I forgot that I was trying to think about when I get to move up on this dungeon card. That's usually when you get through the deck here. So you would actually move up there to be able to help you get certain things and stuff like that. So, okay, let's move on. Left or right? I think I will take the right. Skirmish. Oh boy. Boy, these skirmishes are just going to be the death of me. I think I'm going to pass. I'll go to the next one. Another skirmish. Wow. This is unfortunate. All right. So we're going to have to do the same thing we did last time we got to a skirmish. I can avoid the skirmish. I think I'm going to try that with my conceal. So I'm going to re-roll here. I'm going to hope that I get a 5 or a 6. And I did. So I avoid the skirmish because I really don't want to get that +4 to the health of whatever the enemy is. So I was just going to do it before I even got to it. And I think I have to actually show what the enemy is and then discard it. So I will do that. It was a zombie. It probably would have. Oh, the zombies don't inflict initial damage and they're only 2 health. So that would have been an easy fight to win, hopefully. But unfortunately, I avoided it, which is okay. I just thought, you know what? I just don't think I want to get to the skirmish part. Okay. All right. Last 2 cards of the first level of the dungeon here. All right. Let's see what we're going to pick. Let's go left. Campsite. Oh, I'm going to pick it regardless of what happens because there's a lot of good stuff in here. I know that for a fact. The other one is altar. Oh my God. Both of these would have been amazing. So let's go. Let's talk about the altar since I actually didn't pick it. If I were to take that, I would get a blessing token. I could choose that or I could heal. So I could discard D6 minus D6 poison tokens. Luckily, I haven't had to worry about poison yet. So that the healing would have mattered, but getting a blessing token would have been amazing. But unfortunately, that does not happen. So we're going to try the campsite. So what I can do is I can spend a ration to gain 3 energy. I can gain a ration, or I can spend 1 ration to gain 2 health and lose a potion. All of those are amazing. The only thing that sucks is because I only have 1 ration. Say I rested and I spent this 1 ration to gain 2 health and lose a potion. Well, I'm already at the end of this dungeon, so I'd have to spend a ration to get past the dungeon. So if I didn't have that ration, I'd lose 3 health and this would be worthless. So would this. It would be like, okay, well, I got 3 energy, which is cool, but now I'm giving up my health tokens that I'd be closer to dead. So I'm going to grab myself another ration. Hopefully that'll help for later in the game. And hopefully there'll be some better times ahead. All right. So I am officially done with the dungeon for the first part. So we have to do a certain amount of things. So what we have to do is first we have to take these cards and we have to shuffle. So I'm going to do a nice little shuffle. I'm going to do it not in front of you. I'll just do this. Well, maybe I will do it in front of you. So it doesn't look like I'm cheating. Like kind of doing like even though there's not that many of these cards for the dungeon, I like to kind of do like the old school shuffle with these, even though a lot of people hate that because they're like, oh, you bend the cards. I don't care. Game's a game. You'll be fine. All right. So shuffle your cards. All right. Put them back to form the dungeon deck. Okay. Feed your character by spending that food token or that ration token. So get rid of that. For every 2 potion tokens you currently have, you gain an additional 1. I don't have any at the moment. And then, of course, if your potion tokens are more than your health tokens, you would die. So luckily that didn't happen. Advance my pawn up in the dungeon 1. So now I'm at level 2. And then draw the top plot card and resolve it. So usually when you're going through the dungeon, you'd only possibly do 1 plot because you probably wouldn't get the clearing. Since I had the clearing during this last level of the dungeon, I'm actually going to be doing 2 plots for the first level, basically, which is awesome. So we're going to grab a plot and we're going to see what we have. All right, so the prisoner. You find yourself in the threshold of a small prison room. An orc guard is fast asleep at the table where a couple of gold coins rest. The sole prisoner spots you and silently points to the keys on the table. Free the prisoner? Slowly, you make your way towards the table, but as you near it, the orc awakes. A battle ensues, and you are the victor. You free the prisoner, and he runs off without even offering a thank you. You lose an energy and 3 health, but you move up 1 on the morality track and gain 2 gold and a treasure card, which is fantastic. Or you can take the money and run. You dash through the room, picking up the coins as you pass the table. The orc wakes up confused, but you are long gone. Move down 1 on the morality track and gain 2 gold. Okay. So if I decided to free the prisoner, I would lose an energy. I would lose 3 health, which would actually only take me down to 2, which would really suck at the moment. But I would move 1 on the morality track, gain 2 gold and a treasure card, which the treasure card might be a potion, which actually might give me health. Who knows? But do I want to take that chance? I don't know. I'm already a -1 on the morality track too, so I don't know if I want to go down any more than that. Boy, so many decisions. When you're low on health, do you really want to take a chance to get more health? Yeah, I think I'm going to be more of a coward this time. I think I'm going to dash through the room picking up the coins. Sorry, prisoner, you're just going to have to stay there for a little bit longer. So I'm going to move down another -1, making me the -2 on my morality track. Oh, bad person. I am a bad person. And then I'm going to gain 2 gold. So I can actually spend that on a certain loot if I wanted to. Okay. All right. And then also it gives me 3 eyeballs here. So that gets me up to 5 eyeballs. So I'm already halfway to the end. Halfway to the end. Okay. So just want to read something quick so I make sure I know. Okay, I think I'm okay. All right. So I have enough coins, 3 coins to where if I run into a merchant, maybe I can buy something. We'll see. Unfortunately, my morality is very low because I am not a very good person. All right. So let's continue the second level of the dungeon. All right. 2 cards. Pick the one on the left. Labyrinth. Nope. Don't like that because I'd have to discard 2 rations, lose 3 health for each ration you cannot discard. So I would discard a ration and lose 3 health. So no way, Jose. I would not want to do that. No, thank you. So then I will choose this one and skirmish. Oh man, I tell you, it's getting worse and worse. So we're getting low on energy. All right, so let's see what happens here. All right, so I have to draw my enemy and add the dungeon level +4 to their health. So it's a zombie who only has 2 health, but plus that 4. So give them 6. Okay, so I'm going to put the 6 on there. I'm going to use my short bow. So let's get the elven bow away from there. We're going to do this here. I'm not going to use the ice hack yet because this zombie is undead, and I don't. Doesn't have a weakness of ice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal 2 damage before their initial damage, and zombies don't inflict initial damage, so I won't be taking any damage from them, which is awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal 2 damage to them, so they're going to go down to a 4. Okay, I'm going to spend another 2 because I think I can roll 4 between 2. I could take a chance and just only roll 1, but then that would give him a chance to attack me more, which is interesting because they have an attack value of 0. So if they were to attack me, I could roll the 2 dice minus the 1, and then they wouldn't add any additional damage on it. So you know what? I think I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take one of my energy tokens back. I'm going to try 1 die and see if I can defeat him with 1. Because if he tries to bite me, I'm guessing is what's going to happen this next round, then I won't take as much damage as if I were to take it from like Orc Warrior or something like that. So I'm going to roll this die, hope for the best. You know what? I think what I'm going to do. No, I'm going to stick with what I have. I'm going to use the short bow. Okay, I rolled a 1. Cool thing about this is I have if you remember, I have my archery. So my archery means that when using a bow, I can re-roll all die results of 1. So I'm going to do that. Roll this back up. Hope for 4. Another 1. I can re-roll again. Let's hope for better. And it's a 4. Look at that. Oh, man, I am barely surviving here, folks. All right. So the zombie is going away. Okay. So, and then It's got another treasure of 1, so I can take a gold or I can take a loot. I think I'm going to take a loot. All right, awesome. So now we've got the Cinder Blade. Attack results of 6, deal 7 damage. Wow. +3 to the sum of your attack roll versus enemies weak to fire. Okay, so I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to discard my elven bow because I don't really need that because I have this short bow, which is actually pretty good, even though I rerolled die results of 6. I still can reroll a die result of 1 with my archery. So I'm going to get rid of the elven bow. That's going to go off to the side. Okay, so we have that, and I didn't get anything additional there. So we move on to the next one. Nope. There we go. To the right. Ambush. Okay, I think I'm going to get rid of it. Try the next one. Hope for not a skirmish. All right, here we go. Altar. So I can get a blessing token, or I can discard D6 minus D6 poison. All right, so I don't have any poison, so I'm going to gain a blessing. So I'm going to dig around here, find a blessing, keep it face down for the end of the game, and we're going to move on. Next 2. Left. Ambush. There's a lot of skirmish cards in here. So do I want to keep going, or do I want to stick with what I have? I think I'm going to stick with the ambush. Well, let's see what this other one is just for. Yeah, see, skirmish. That would really got me. Well, I'm glad I figured that out, I guess, or guessed correctly. Okay, so I get to draw an enemy card and ignore their initial damage, but then I have to add the dungeon level to their health, which is my dungeon level 2. Cave Troll. Oh my god. He would have a 4 attack plus whatever I'd roll. He has 8 health. Plus I'd be adding the 2, so he would be 10. But if I did beat him, though, I could get a potion and a loot card. Oh man, I should just take a chance. Oh, he's actually weak to fire, so I could use my Cinder Blade. All right, I'm gonna take a chance here. So he is got, or they have 10 health. Okay, so let's see. So I have to do the initial damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll my 2 dice, and then I'm going to add their attack value. Another thing too, which I failed to mention, at any time, if you ever roll doubles, then the enemy that's attacking you misses completely on their initial damage, or any damage actually, which is awesome. So let's hope for that, huh? I don't want to get any more damage right now. I want to try to get less damage. Or wait a minute, let's see something else. Well, if I use my ice hack, I could just throw that right away. I would still take I would still take damage. No, I'm gonna stick with the Cinder Blade. You know what? I'm gonna die in a blaze of glory, probably. Here we go. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so here we go. I roll 2 dice. Boom. Oh, 6 minus 3 is 3. Plus the 4. I get to soak 1 damage. So what did I say here? 3 plus 4 is 7. Minus 1 is 6. I think that is all my health. Yep, I have 5 health. If you can see this, 5 health. Yep, so I died. Boo. All right, so that's the end of the game. Kind of cool, huh? So let's kind of fast forward. Let's say I've gotten enough eyeballs from these plot cards to fight the bad boss. Okay, so what you're gonna do is right now, let's just say right now I have one undead enemy that I fought. So I would look for a boss that is undead. Oh, look at this. The Lich is undead. So you've got your undead, your ice, and your fire. So you've got the Lich, the Lurker, and the Naga. So if I were to be fighting the boss at the end, I'd be fighting the Lich. So he would have 20 health, 4 damage, plus your damage with your dice. You would be able to get 2 loot, which means being able to draw from a potion and loot. And then it says when the Lich hits with his initial attack or counter strikes, which is counter strikes actually means if you don't beat him the first time after his initial attack or whatever, or after their initial attack, then they're doing counter strikes. It says that he steals, well, this is actually, he steals 2 energy. So that means that you're spending energy to fight, but he's also taking energy after his initial attack and counter strike. So if you run out of energy, all you're doing is basically using your good old fist to try to get 1 damage on him and bleed him dry before he obliterates you, basically. Okay. So, but before that, what you would do is you would be able to look at your blessings. So this is called, what do they call it? Divine visit. So you would actually turn over your tokens, see what you got. So like this divine blessing I got was the health one. I did not pick the same one. I picked another one. But there's other different ones that you can get in here. Let me show you a couple just so you would know what those look like. If I can actually grab them. Okay. What are some other ones? So like here's another energy to spend, which would have been good against the Lich. Another health, energy. What else is there? I feel like there's something else in here that I'm missing. Oh, here's another one. It's like 2 health. So you would turn those over. You would add those to what's going on, and then you would fight. And then at the end, what would happen is after you fought your boss, then you would get a final score. So you'd get 1 point for each health and energy token you have left, 3 points for each gold coin you have left, 2 points for each enemy defeated, points equal to the cost of all the items you possess, including your loot, potions, and trappings, points equal to the dungeon level on which you won the game multiplied by 2, and then points equal to the position on the morality tracker. Unless you have negative, like I would have had negative, and that would have made it worse. So then you look at your little sheet here, and it tells you how well or not well you did. So if you got a 0 to 30, hovel, your retirement is meager at best. Your dwelling is 1-man shack on fringe of mining village. So you got the middle, you got croft. You retire to a sturdy stone home with acres of rolling hills and a barn stocked with animals, and live in farmhand. If I could talk. Or you could get fortress. You retire to a small cliffside castle with miles of land, a full staff of servants, and a keep full of treasures. Yeah, so that's pretty much Iron Helm. Designed by Jason Glover, illustrated by Jason Glover and Daniel E. Walthall, and then published by Graham Gnome Games. So if this is something that you're excited to take a look at, Graham Gnome Games, they do all their games through the Game Crafter. So go to the Game. Apparently, I cannot say it because I've been talking so long. I'm starting to mince words. Go to thegamecrafter.com and get this great game. I really enjoy it. Again, it's a challenge. It's kind of hard, but it's a fun kind of hard where you just want to keep going and, seeing what you can do. Different characters have different abilities. Like you've got, let's see some of the characters. This is just from the base game. They also have some expansions. They've got Phaon, who looks like he's got a sword and a shield. You've got Moliklan, which he's got an axe, and you've got Sortab, who is a wizard. But then you've got different, like I've got a couple of the expansions. Let's see, I've got Adventure Pack 1, Adventure Pack 2. I think this is Adventure Pack 1. So like it has like a story. Here's the Warren of Despair, and then the boss is the Cyclops. And you get different enemies and stuff like that. You get different loot. I like this. You get a couple of different heroes too. I love Oslo. Oslo is awesome because he's got a lot of energy, a lot of health. He can have a lot of stuff. He's just ready to just battle. But there's a lot of cool things in this game, and the art is amazing. I love Jason and Daniel's art. It's just amazing. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, that is Iron Helm in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed watching me ramble on and play this game. I'm going to try to do this a little more often. I don't know if I'm going to have like a regular schedule, but I'd like to just do this every once in a while. So if you ever have the chance, follow us here on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe and like the video, please. If you have any questions or any comments, there's games that this reminds you of. If you ever played any of here, let's go back to me talking here so you can actually see me. If you have played any other Gray Gnome games or anything like that, just let us know. Let us know what you think. If you played Iron Helm and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and I never thought anyone else played this game, let us know. Again, I want to try to play a little bit more solo here, just because it's just nice to kind of get down and be able to play some solo games. Also, I'm going to try to see if I can get my podcast partner and wife Tracy to come down here and play a few games so we can kind of show you some other things. But just want to highlight some games that maybe you don't quite know yet, and if you do, then maybe it'll give you more love on the games that you play. So until next time, I'm Kurt. Thank you for watching the MFG Cast.